My name is Zman. This is my place. I'm not doing the intro, guys. But I will state that we are back with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Okay, so I'm gonna be real. I'm beginning kind of bored of just doing pure live action content. I mean, let me look it up real quick on my little cellular device here. I can't even say it right. That's how cool it is. And let's see. Ooh, this guy's like going live. Oh, this is so interesting. Good for him. Let's see. I did Family Matter. Oh, it's regular show. But regular show was a very short season. So I got Family Matters. I did Twilight Zone. Like I've been doing and currently right now I'm watching It's Always Sunny, and I'm also eventually gonna start Goldbergs. I've been doing a lot of live action recently. And hey, I was like, hey, Aqua Teen is only like a short 13 episodes. I'll probably just do this real quick. I'm already decently through It's Always Sunny season 3 anyway, so in like a few days, I'll be able to get that done, and we'll all be hunky dory. I already did like 2 seasons of Aqua Teen, so I don't think I need to explain this too hard. But yeah, season 3. This is the first season where I've already seen a couple of these episodes before going into this review, but I'm pretty sure to explain this in the season 2 review, so hopefully you guys still don't care. I hope the month-long breaks did not change your perception of caring. And yeah, 13 short 11-minute episodes. This probably will be a shorter one, but hopefully it'll still be fun. 1. Video Ouija. Shake ends his life so he can show up in Meatwad's video game. We start things off very strongly. This is a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I really love this one. We start off with a really peak episode. Everything about this one is just like what I want. This episode's a good example of what I want out of Aqua Teen. We're like on season 3 now, and the first 2 seasons were like way longer than this one. That was already like a good chunk of episodes right there. So the show already pretty much knows what it wants to be at this point. I mean, it's Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's a show where Shake dies in this episode, but next episode it's like, bro's be coming back. Bro's be doing whatever, twin. And it all works. It's really, really funny. I think the reason I'm putting this episode as high as it is on the overall ranking is because of BillyWitchDoctor.com. BillyWitchDoctor.com is easily one of my favorite side characters of the entire show. I usually perform with chickens. Chicken, a right chicken. Every time this dude talked, I laughed. He on it. I don't want to act like he carries the episode because he really doesn't carry it per se, but he does make this episode way, way better than it already was. I do like other stuff about this episode though. Meatwad's insult game is really funny. I love how he's just playing Atari. Like, I guess this show was made like the early 2000s. At that point, no one be using Atari, bro. Get some new content, bro. Meatwad gotta up his game. Not much else to say about this one. It's a classic and easily one of the best episodes so far, and also might be of the whole show. You'll have to watch the rest of the video to find out. The rest of all my season reviews whenever those come out. 2. Unremarkable Voyage. Frylock builds a shrink ray. Okay, so I'm gonna be blunt. This one's a 4 out of 5. I like it, but it's not anything that special. I watched this whole season in the span of like 2 days. This episode, and I watched this one literally yesterday, and already now I barely even remember this one too well, which, oof, bad sign for me as a reviewer, and also bad sign to this episode. In terms of stuff I do remember, I found it funny how Carl just wanted a bigger ding dong. That's very in character for him because, come on, getting women's pretty much the only thing bro got going on in his life. I don't have much else to say about this one though. This one felt like it changed a lot. Like it felt like usually Aqua Teen episodes do have the format of starting. It's almost is kind of like regular show in some sort of sense, where it's like it slowly can get more and more absurd as the episode goes on. But like, I don't know, bro. This one was just wasn't doing a ton for me. I felt like they were changing the thing every like couple minutes, and it's like, and remember this is only 11 minutes, so that's to be fair though. There are again though there are still good stuff in here. Like you gotta love. Oh man, I'm choking, bro. I mean, there's still some good stuff in this episode, like Meatwad not being able to poo out the chip, the microchip that Frylock needed. You also got the guys all just beating up Shake. Because let's all be honest, Shake getting hurt in any capacity is awesome because he's such a dick most of the time in the show. So there are good parts of this episode, and I do think it's a good episode overall. But again, the fact I barely remember it kind of proves that it doesn't have a lot of staying power. There's a reason I've never even heard of this episode until I finally watched it for the first time for the season review. 3. Remooned. Mooninites meet the Aqua Teens again, this time so they can cash a Moonshack. This one is another Mooninites episode and also the best Mooninites episode. 5 out of 5. Okay, so I legit blanked on this, but you know how for the first 2 seasons, the cold open was the Dr. Weird and Steve stuff? Well, in this season, they switch up the cold opens by instead using Space Kotaz, which is pretty much just a pilot they made for a show that never got picked up, and they interspliced pieces of the pilot into each of the opening of every episode. As someone who is a diehard big fan of Dr. Weird and Steve, I admittedly like Space Kataz way less. I think it's also because Aqua Teen's the kind of show where I don't really want to watch it in order. This isn't a show I'm going to be watching, binging in this type of way regularly. I feel like if I watch these episodes like randomly, which I probably will like, in the future, I'm not really going to remember what's going on. So I feel like part of the jokes get lost. I don't know. They should just have Space Kataz just be an episode of the season instead of what they try to do here, even though I can respect the experimentation. But yeah, the Mooninites are in Space Kataz, and now I'm seeing an episode about the Mooninites. That's the point of all this. So anyway, Remooned is a great episode, 5 out of 5. I feel bad for Nignock, the green Mooninites like uncle, because bro had some mad issues and they just stole the check. Or is it a check? Also, you gotta love how them alongside Shake and Meatwad are just trying to cash it like at a convenience store, or I guess more so a gas station's appropriate to say. Like, bruh, these guys are dumb. How the Aqua Teens stay in that house will always confuse me. Also, you gotta love how compared to like season 1, where the Mooninites were more objective villains. At this point, like they don't care. The Aqua Teens don't care. Frylock, who was like the main, who like really didn't like them in season 1, feels like he cares less here, and I think it just goes to show how less generic the show's been at this point. Like at this point, they don't care about like traditional good guy bad guy roles and all that. They just want to be funny. Let's let Shake and Meatwad join the Mooninites in what they're trying to do. It's just funnier. This is a great episode. 5 out of 5. Really love this one. The Mooninites were easily at their funniest with this episode, and it's a really great time. 4. Gee Whiz. There's an image of Gee Whiz on a billboard. Meanwhile, Meatwad's pregnant. This episode kind of reminds me of the PTV episode of Family Guy, which I know I haven't even reviewed that Family Guy season yet, but pretty much reminds me like that, and the fact that both of these episodes clearly try to just make fun of censorship, and that's like the whole goal. That's the whole point of the episode. But I don't mean that in a bad way, because this is a pretty good episode, 4 out of 5. Not much to say. All the plots in this episode work decently enough. Meatwad is pregnant. All you male impreg fans, they're all like, let's go. But then you realize Meatwad may be a child, possibly. like most things in Aqua Teen, it's hilariously inconsistent whether or not Meatwad's an actual child. So this is either like on the same level of Stewie Griffin getting pregnant, or it's perfectly just normal male and preg. Man, if I got a nickel for every time I referenced Family Guy in this Aqua Teen review, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that's happened twice. Anyway, also the plot with Shake, where like he gets hurt whenever he's trying to like point out the sign, was also pretty funny. Again, because Shake's such a douchebag that seeing him get hurt is funny. Everything in this episode works well enough, and it's just a really good time. Check this one out. Yeah. 5. E-Dork. Shake and Carl get E-helmets, which are so high-tech, but do very little good. 4 out of 5. Pretty cut and dry one. Just Shake hopping onto this dumb new trend. And the only one who's really down for is Carl because he gets to watch porn on it. That's literally, or pawn, I mean. Because I'm pretty sure that's a big no-no word on YouTube. But then again, my channel's so small, so it's like, what's YouTube gonna do? Either way, good episode. I like it well, and it's another one that's in the category of good without being anything special. It's funny how easily Frolic's able to disprove everything Shake's saying about his high-tech stuff. But Frolic just kind of pulls out his flip phone, because again, this is like the early 2000s, so iPhones and the way we view phones now weren't even a thing back then. I was born 2008, so I was pretty much grew up alongside the iPhone. But yeah, this is a good, solid episode. Sorry about that, my computer's acting weird. 6. Little Brittle. For like a meatwad to visit MCP pair, Super Sirlo, Little Brittle. Yeah, no, the title, my description makes it obvious that this is the third of the MCP Pants trilogy. Eat your heart out, Star Wars. This is the real peak trilogy right here. Anyway, I'm gonna give my quick thought. If you guys remember my thoughts on the previous ones, MCP Pants I consider to be the first truly great Aqua Teen episode, and spoiler alert to that almost a year-old video, but the only truly 5 out of 5 season 1 Aqua Teen episode. Super Sirloin from season 2 was unfortunately pretty mid. It kind of just felt like they wanted to bring him back, but I didn't really think they did it that well. But this one's a 4 out of 5. MCP Pants, the original episode, is still objectively the best one of the trilogy, at least to me. But I'm shocked by how much I enjoyed this one, considering I found Super Sirloin to be pretty mid. It's just a really funny time. I like how at this point, again, they're not beating around, kind of like with the Remooned episode, they're not really beating around the bush anymore. That's not what the show's about anymore. The show has changed so little, but even with that little change, it feels like so much has evolved, bro. Because at this point, we all know what MCP Pants is up to. We're on season 3, bro. It's not that deep. We do get one of the best lines of the whole show where Shake's like, "Where the hell are you going without me? We're gonna visit Little Brittle in the old folks' home. Go without me." Shake is such a douche, and it's hilarious. He is still probably my fave character. Yeah, really good episode, this one. I thought it was pretty funny. And Little Brittle becomes a vampire and then dies. Hey, at least this time his death wasn't on the Aqua Teens, which helps make it a bit more unique. Pretty good episode. 7. Robo-Sitter. Shake and Frylock get jobs, so Frylock builds a Robo-Sitter to take care of Meatwad. Okay, so this is one I don't really hear about when looking up like best of Aqua Teen episodes, at least on YouTube, but this is a 5 out of 5. I still think the video Ouija episode is still the best one so far, but this is another great episode, and I honestly wish people talked about it more because I do love this one. Shake and Frylock, even without Meatwad, are such a good duo because Frylock is easily the like one of the more likable Aqua Teen characters just in general. Because yeah, he has his faults like everyone else, but he's at the end of the day a chill guy that I would probably just hang with for at least a little bit. Well, Shake is just like pure evil, literally the definition of a white douchebag, which makes sense because he's a white cop. So seeing these two just having a job together is really, really funny to me. And pretty much all their interactions are really funny here. Despite the episode being called Robo-Sitter, she doesn't really actually appear until the end of the episode, but I think her parts were still funny too. How just a much of a horrible babysitter she is to Meatwad, but somehow better than Carl. Crazy work. So yeah, this is another top tier episode easily, and I really loved it. I laughed a lot this one. 8. The Mooninites. Final mooning. Mooninites gaslight Meatwad and Shake into thinking they're Moonmasters. Crazy work. We got 2 Moonite episodes in season 1. No Moonite episodes in season 2 unless you count the last one, which I'm kind of iffy on if I count that. And now in season 3, we once again get 2 Mooninites episodes. Keep in mind that they still show up in the opening bits of every episode this season. This was not intentional at all, but man, a good thing I put the Mooninites on the cover of this video, so it actually feels fitting for once. Anyway, 4 out of 5. Remooned is still the better of the Moonite episodes of the season, but this one's still better than like the season 1 Moonite episodes, which I still liked, if you remember. I don't even know what to say about this episode. I thought it was pretty good. Seeing the Moonite so easily scam the Aqua Teens isn't really that surprising. I mean, come on, this is Meatwad and Shake we're talking about. And then even by the end of Carl also getting sucked in. It almost gives off pyramid scheme energy, but with them having to like get people to sign signatures. But obviously they don't know shit, so they all try to get Frylock to sign it for them. This is a really good episode. Just a pretty funny one. 9. The South Bronx Paradise Diet. Aqua Teens try different exercising techniques. This one's another classic 5 out of 5. Take a basic concept like exercise and try and do well for yourself, and put the Aqua Teens in it. And at this point, the characters are so well written that you just get an awesome like peak episode out of that. Meatwad genuinely trying to just have a normal diet. Meatwad actually, rare time Meatwad's actually kind of locked in for something for once in his very dumb life. Carl just tries to use these diet pills that let's just say don't go well for him in a very Aqua Teen Hunger Force way. If you know, you know. And then you have Shake, who pretty much just doesn't care about exercising, but then pretty much spends the rest of the episode trying to harm Meatwad's attempts at getting a diet because Shake just hates Meatwad for no reason. Shake's just the ultimate hater, and I find it really funny, this episode especially. Bro gets funnel cakes, so bro put in the effort to hurt this man. This is just a peak episode and easily one of the best of the season and of the show. This season has been really, really good so far. Let's hope this continues. I mean, we only got like 4 episodes left, so probably shouldn't have said all that, acting like it's going to be doing much. 10. Dusty Gazongas. Shake and Carl fight over a mechanic called Dusty. 4 out of 5. A pretty good one here. Well, shouldn't say that, but it is a good episode, obviously by the rating. It actually reminds me a lot of season 1's Mail Order Bride episode, and well, not as good as that one. I still like it. It's the battle between love, despite the fact that both Carl and Master Shake are really terrible people, and if you are a woman and you like are messed up so much in your previous life, you get sent to the Aqua Teen Hunger Force universe. I never try to date either of them, bro. You will be very unhappy. This is Dusty herself is also a very funny character. Another pretty underrated one-off, honestly. she's the stereotypical dumb blonde, but I think she does it well enough. Where it's like she's kind of nice. I mean, she's a little mean to Frolic when Frolic wants her to actually do her job properly, but other than that, she seems like a nice person with a nice, cha-ching. Okay, that's really gross. I'll stop. This is just simply a really funny episode. Was not expecting the ending with the wrench, a lot of wrench going on at the end, but this is still a good episode. Carl couldn't even get it though, so that's a shame. 11. T-shirt of the dead. Shake steals an Egyptian shirt that he washes, and now only Meatwad will fit. Yeah, this is another 5 out of 5, and another peak episode, at least in my opinion. Come on, Meatwad using his shirt powers is just great. The infinite number of Easter bunnies. And in my opinion, Santa in this episode is up there with BlittyWitchDoctor.com as one of the funniest things the show has given us, at least so far. I love how this is probably one of my favorite portrayals of Santa in just any piece of media. Because on one hand, he's trying to be the stereotypical holly jolly Santa, but the fact that Meatwater woke him in like the middle of summer, yeah, bro, kind of has a right to be pissed about this one. No, it's simply just extremely funny. Especially since Shake originally was trying to use the shirt, but he has to wash it because it's all dirty. But then he still kind of tries to get Meatwad to make wishes for him, like he wants a snake. But Meatwad's like, "Yeah, you're saying snake, and all I'm hearing is Easter bunny, Easter bunny, Easter bunny." And eventually he makes like an egg dinosaur thing, and then he gets a girl one, and they have like a prom. And it's like, bro, let's Meatwad thinking up, twin. And then by the end, Santa gets brutally injured, so the Aqua team save Christmas. Because this was a Christmas special the whole time. Yeah, this episode is my favorite one of the season so far. No questions asked. 12. Hypnogerm. Hypnogerms infect Shake. Another episode, another 5 out of 5. I love the hell out of this episode. This is one where at the first half I was liking it. I thought, hey, this is pretty good. But man, when it turns into focusing on the germs and Puncho, it just really picked up in quality from a good episode to a great episode. I'm not even going to say much about this one because simply I just want you to watch it. It by the midway point it stops feeling like a usual Aqua Teen episode, except for the large amount of weirdness. That's still the same. But yeah, it's just a great episode, honestly. Seeing in the beginning though, seeing Shake on hallucinating was pretty funny. The reason he even got hypnogerms was pretty funny. Just a great episode, and all I'm gonna say to end off this section of the review is that Wizard being solo was awesome. Bro deserved that applause. And finally, 13, Carl. I'm pretty sure this episode's called like Space Gay World or something to other people, but on HBO Max, which is what I used to watch these episodes, it's simply just called Carl. So I'm just calling it that. The story for this one is that the Aqua Teens take a vacation, so Carl is left alone. This episode is a 4 out of 5. Yep, we end with the season getting a perfect record of all good episodes. I actually really liked this one. This is one of those ones I did watch beforehand, and I remembered liking it enough, but I think I like this one way more on a rewatch. Probably because I was watching it alone instead of watching it with my family, who are nowhere near as big of Aqua Teen fans as I am. So the whole time I was just looking at my brother trying to get him hooked, but he isn't. For now. Yeah, this is still a really good episode, though. It surprisingly actually gives some depth to Carl as a character. Before this point, Carl was pretty much just like some guy who really wanted to get laid. And he's still that, but this episode proves how even though he loves hating, I shouldn't say he loves it, but even though he does hate on the Aqua Teens and clearly gets annoyed by them extremely easily, deep down, Carl also knows that he's extremely bored without the Aqua Teens. They're the only people who really talk to him on a regular basis, and without them, he pretty much has nothing going on in his life. Again, surprisingly deep for an Aqua Teen episode, but they still managed to make it funny too. It's not light on jokes. Especially towards the end, I think it really starts to pick up. We're seeing little snippets of the Aqua Teens on vacation, especially Shake, Frolic wanting to get some Riz. Shake pulls the bed out of the hotel room, which is just damn, bro. Shake couldn't let Frolic even try to get some. It's a pretty good episode and a pretty good finale to the season. So that's season 3. So before I talk about my overall opinion on the season, I'm going to be talking about all the episodes. Much like Family Matters Season 2, this is another season where surprisingly all the episodes are good to me, so even the ones at the bottom I still consider good episodes and should recommend you watch. But yeah, at the bottom with still 4 out of 5s, we have Unremarkable Voyage, E. Dork, Dusty Gonzangas, I cannot say that properly, oh my god, Little Brittle, Carl, G. Wiz, and the Mooninites' Final Mooning. And then for the top 6, the 5 out of 5s, the Max Rados, we got Hypnogerm, Remooned, the South Bronx Paradise Diet, and then for my top 3 of the season, we got Robo Sitter, Video Ouija, and then T-Shirt of the Dead. Which, not much of a hoof after saying all that, because it's only like 13 episode titles, but still, I can't say Gonzangas for the hell of me. I'm too well trained of a man to do that. Okay, that's stupid. Why did I say that? Overall thoughts? I did really like the season, but I'm honestly not sure if I like this one more than season 2. I mean, I like this one obviously way more than season 1, but comparing to season 2 and 3, season 2 has episodes I'd actively recommend skipping, but I also think it's due to it being 24 episodes, well more than, like a little under half of what this season had. A little over. Season 2 has 24 episodes, season 3 has 13 episodes. Season 2 having like 11 more episodes definitely makes a difference, even if some of those episodes I do think are worth skipping. I also would probably say that the top... Yeah, checking my overalls, the top 2 of the... literally 4 out of the 5 in the top 5 are season 2 episodes, with T-Shirt of the Dead being the only one to crack the top 5. So I guess what I'm trying to say is... I think season 2 has higher highs and has more episodes, but season 3 is the first perfect season in my opinion because it has no episodes that I recommend skipping, and it's all good, bro. And it's just more consistent, which makes it a very easy season to just sit through, especially since it is only those 13 episodes. Make your pick of that what you will. With that, I am Z-Man. And I am number 1 in the hood, G. Not really.